A crowded luxury restaurant suddenly falls silent when one of the richest men in the city begins choking at his own dinner table. Glasses stop clinking, conversations freeze, and panic spreads through the room. The doctor rushes forward, confident he can handle the situation. Seconds turn into terrifying moments as the billionaire struggles to breathe. Then, from the corner of the restaurant, a quiet waitress steps forward and says something that makes everyone pause. She claims she knows a technique that could save him. Most people doubt her immediately. After all, what could a simple waitress know that a trained doctor does not? But within the next few seconds, something happens that leaves the entire restaurant stunned. The restaurant that evening was filled with elegant guests enjoying expensive meals and quiet conversations. In the center of the room sat Mr. Harrison, a billionaire known for his powerful business empire and strict personality. People admired his success but also respected the distance he kept from others. Few dared to approach him unless absolutely necessary. As he lifted a fork to take another bite of his meal, something went wrong. His expression suddenly changed. His hand moved to his throat, and his chair pushed back slightly as he struggled to breathe. At first, some guests thought he had simply coughed on a drink, but the situation quickly became serious. His face tightened with panic, and the air around the table filled with urgent voices. A doctor dining nearby immediately stood up and rushed over. Confident and calm, he began attempting to help. The surrounding guests stepped back, creating space while watching nervously. The doctor checked quickly, trying to clear the obstruction, but Mr. Harrison's breathing did not improve. The tension in the room grew heavier with every passing second. Near the edge of the restaurant stood Maya, a waitress who had been quietly serving tables all evening. She had watched the entire situation unfold while holding a tray in her hands. Something about the scene made her heart race. She recognized the signs immediately. Earlier, her grandmother had taught her a special pressure technique used in their village during emergencies when someone could not breathe. Maya hesitated for a moment. The doctor was already helping, and the restaurant was full of wealthy and influential people who would listen to a waitress interrupting a professional. But the billionaire's struggle was becoming more desperate. Bree knew waiting any longer could make things worse. Gathering her courage, she stepped forward and spoke carefully, asking if she could try something. Several people looked at her with confusion. One guest even whispered that the doctor was already handling it. But Maya's voice carried a calm certainty that made the doctor pause for a brief moment. She explained that the technique involved applying pressure at a specific point near the diaphragm while positioning the body in a certain way to help release the blockage. The doctor studied her expression, realizing she was serious and not simply guessing. With the situation becoming more urgent, he stepped slightly aside, allowing her to try. Maya quickly moved into position behind Mr. Harrison. Her movements were confident but gentle. She placed her hands carefully, remembering the instructions her grandmother had repeated countless times during her childhood. Around the room, every guest watched with wide eyes, unsure whether this unexpected attempt would help or make things worse. For a moment the room felt completely still. Maya applied the precise pressure and motion she had learned long ago. Within seconds, something incredible happened. Mr. Harrison suddenly coughed, and the obstruction cleared. Air rushed back into his lungs as he leaned forward, breathing deeply. The tension that had filled the restaurant burst into a wave of shocked relief. Guests gasped, some even applauding quietly as they realized what had just happened. The doctor himself looked impressed, nodding slowly as he confirmed that the billionaire was now breathing normally again. Mr. Harrison remained seated for a moment, regaining his strength. When he finally looked up, his eyes searched the room until they found Maya standing a few steps away, still holding the empty tray she had forgotten about in the chaos. The powerful businessman who was known for rarely showing emotion now looked at her with genuine gratitude. The entire restaurant had just witnessed something they would never forget. After a few minutes, the restaurant slowly returned to a calmer atmosphere. The whispers about the dramatic moment spread from table to table. Guests who had been strangers moments earlier were now discussing how close the situation had been. Mr. Harrison eventually stood up, still slightly shaken but fully recovered. The doctor who had first rushed to help approached Maya with curiosity. Instead of feeling embarrassed, he thanked her for stepping forward when the situation demanded quick thinking. He admitted that her technique had worked perfectly. Maya explained that the method had been taught by her grandmother, who believed traditional knowledge could sometimes help during emergencies when quick action was needed. She never expected to use it in a crowded luxury restaurant, especially in front of so many important people. Mr. Harrison then did something that surprised everyone nearby. He asked Maya to sit at his table for a moment. First she hesitated, unsure whether it was appropriate, but his tone was sincere. He wanted to know more about the technique and the story behind it. As Maya spoke about her grandmother and the lessons she had learned growing up, the billionaire listened carefully. For a man who usually focused only on business deals and financial strategies, this moment felt strangely meaningful. Guests around them noticed a different side of Mr. Harrison that they had rarely seen before. The powerful businessman who controlled massive companies was now simply a man grateful for a second chance to breathe. Before leaving the restaurant that night, Mr. Harrison thanked Maya once again in front of several witnesses. He told her that courage and knowledge could come from anywhere. Her decision to act without hesitation had made all the difference, but what surprised everyone even more was what happened the following week. Maya arrived at work expecting another normal evening of serving tables. Instead, the restaurant manager approached her with unexpected news. Mr. Harrison had returned earlier that day and left a message. He had not forgotten the moment she saved him. The billionaire had offered her an opportunity that could completely change her future, explaining that someone with her calm thinking and bravery deserved far more than a quiet job carrying trays between tables. And just like that, the waitress who once stood unnoticed in a crowded restaurant became the person whose courage had rewritten a story that could have ended very differently.